Like I was thinking about a top five player in the world. Only one of them's in a big market franchise, or two of them with Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, who happened to be drafted there. So we don't even know if hypothetically ends up in the Sacramento Kings. Would he wouldn't even be a top five. He wouldn't Celtics wouldn't be have a top five player in the league. You look at Luka Doncic, obviously that's through trade. So you look at it now, the NBA landscape, especially when it comes to markets, is dead. It's dead in the water. I think the mindset of the players has also changed. You look at the modern player; they don't care about clubbing. They don't care about any of that shit, bro. They're just kind of simple guys who want to play the PS5 and
No,
PC games
you know what,
right after games.
you know
I
what?
think the mindset of players has changed where it's like they don't care about all that big lifestyle shit.
But
They're
let me
kind
ask
of
you a
one of the
question.
guys.
Let me ask you a
Yeah.
question though. Do you think social media has something to do with that? Because now when they go out, they can get scrutinized. When they have the Charles Barkley's off the court incidents, now everybody knows. There's some people today that still don't know some of the stuff that took place with Charles Barkley off the court because
I
it was
think it's
different times.
50. I think it's 50-50. To be honest with you, I think
Mm-hmm.
the new generation is much more technology driven. I think the new generation is much more. They're much more indoors guys. Because you look at the players coming in, they spent their middle school, high school, and inside of their homes because of COVID. They're not really looking to be all that wild, if that makes sense. They're
But the
guys that are
is
just
the risk different though? Because look at Zion. Any
no. The risk is different.
yeah,
I mean, you're always going to get outliners, of course,
no,
but
but
I just think
I
the
don't think that's
players,
outline. I don't think that's outliners. I think social
bro. I
media
think
has presented a different dynamic because you can't name one NBA player that hasn't gotten trolled and it's been recorded. Everybody has a CNN in their pocket now. So that
dude, I
player now
agree,
wants
but
to get lit, goes
I
out,
looked,
and someone makes an example of them.
bro. I looked at the Oklahoma City Thunder and their celebration. These guys, they don't care about celebrating, man.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the player that wants to be the star. Today is
I
risky.
think the definition of star has changed. I think the idea of a star being bigger than life has changed big time.
But that's
I
because
don't
that's
think.
also because of social media. How can you become big when everybody sees you every day?
Yeah, I agree, but I also think the way social media is now, they look at players to be more relatable more than anything. That at the end of the day, that's how it is with the way basketball has changed.
But
I think Jason
also the
Tatum
risk,
being a
like I said, the risks are higher though because again, those girls that Zion messed with. Think about the players way before him in the
bro,
90s, 80s. They all met the same type of women. The
dude.
difference
I
is
agree.
those ladies didn't have a CNN in their pocket. All they gotta do is flick their camera and go live and start talking crazy. Whether it be a guy or a girl, it could be a family member where they feel like they owed money. Like Jalen Rose dealt with it the other day. His sister went on live as he's kicking her out the crib that their mother lived in. She was like, "Oh, look what he's doing to me." Everyone has a CNN in their pocket.
No, I agree. Look, there's a lot of scrutiny that comes with it, but I look at these new players, right? These guys aren't guys who's going to the club every night, bro. Like they don't come off as those kind of guys, bro. When Barkley played in Houston, you ask older generation guys how was Barkley, they'll tell you he was a party animal and he loved to go crazy. I look at the guys now, bro. They just want to play Xbox and they want to chill and they want to play with Legos. They're much more simple minded players.
But I think that's because of the environment. Because
Dude, I think that yeah, exactly what I'm saying. That's culture in general.
I would say it's a negativity off the environment. Because think about it, you're getting criticized for your game, right? All day long in social media, it never turns off. And at the same time, the moment you step outside, right? And the wrong fan tries to troll you, oh, you suck, da da da. While they're saying you suck, they're recording you. They're recording your reaction. They're recording, let's say if you just tripped, you just stumbled. They're
No, but I think
recording
that's
it. They're recording it. They're gonna turn that into a meme. That's what I'm saying. A lot of players are avoiding that fucking world, man. Like we don't know how it feels to like have all these like I don't want to say
well, I
fans,
get
but
that.
like
I,
supporters
I
that are
get that.
trolls.
But I think, like I said, I think the way these players operate is a lot different than old players in general. Those ideas was like my gambling and being wild. I don't think these guys care about that shit anymore, bro. I watched Oklahoma City Thunder. I remember growing up watching Braun, Wade. They turned up. These kids, they don't care. Jalen Williams himself. This was my first time drinking a beer. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
Bro,
that's
these
true.
guys,
That's
they're
a good
not
point.
crazy. These guys are homebodies. These guys are COVID products. These guys, they want to play video games. That's their idea of fun. Back then, there's no access to video games when Barkley was growing up. The way he talked to girls was the way he talked to girls and people. He had to go outside. You don't have that anymore. These guys, they're in game rooms. They're on Discord. Their surroundings are different. Everything about these players are different. Mind you, let's say I put 20-year-old Charles Barkley in today's generation, you probably have the same product as, guys that are in the NBA today. I looked at Oklahoma. I'm like, man, these guys aren't having fun. But I'm watching their interviews. I came to that realization that, this is the new generation of hoopers that we're going to see going forward. But I genuinely think the new players now, they're just not they're just not as hungry into partying, into being wild, into having those crazy lifestyles. I look at the players now, bro. They're getting married early. People like that shit. They're having kids early. People love that shit. People love that the kids are around Deuce, Julius Randle's son, Riley Curry when she was really young. People like kind of like that relatability and the idea of, oh, this is me. No more of the days, wow, Magic's so cool.
That's a good point.
Michael Jackson's coming out to watch him. Jordan's so cool. That guy could gamble, play golf, and then play at 8 p.m. basketball. Dennis Rodman can go to Vegas all night and come get you 20 rebounds. Barkley, is
But let
hitting
me
on
ask
a
you a
young
question. Do you
girl
think that
and all
hurts the
those
marketability of the league? No one's saying that family, all that stuff is negative. We're talking about the fact that the players are homebodies. Do you think that hurts the promotion
I
of the
think it
NBA?
benefits the promotion, to be honest with you. I think the way culture has changed, people don't really care for those louder than life personalities, bro. I've seen people gravitate to Shea Gilgis Alexander within the past 2 years more than John Morant at this point.
True, but what I'm saying is that, see, the league is in partnership with the media. Does the media know how to promote that exact homebody
They've
relatability?
done it before.
Are they doing a good job with it?
Yeah, I think so. They've done a solid job so this far.
I don't think so. There's a
Why not?
disconnect. There's a disconnect, not from the players. I think it's really from the media. Because
Bro,
think
the
about
players
it, but think
control
about it. Think about it. The
we
media
control the
today.
media now.
No, but think about it. The NBA media today. I'm talking about the large $1 billion, like, big shots. Those entities still cover the players. Well, now they cover the players from a trolling point of view, from a Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith point of view.
Gilbert
Wait, hold on.
Arenas.
How does the homebody fit into that dynamic?
Bro, because the homebody caters to the internet. The homebody's on the internet. That's the difference. That's what it is at the end of the day. The homebody's at the bro. Look at this.
But
This finals was viewed right. It was crazy viewed and praised. It wasn't because of the media. It was because of people at home. They bought into the storylines. Oh, it's like WWE again. Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson. That was homegrown, grassroots kind of support. Shea Gilgis Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton.
but what I'm saying, we
Oh,
understand we
homegrown.
understand that part, right? But what I'm saying is that peep the disconnect, right? The disconnect is the media last year saying who's gonna win MVP, Tatum or Brown. They're promoting friction 24/7. And then they talked about JJ Redick for the whole finals this year. Look at the coverage of the finals. Did it look like ESPN knew how to promote that?
No, the ESPN did not know how to promote that.
Exactly.
But I think
That's what I'm
ESPN
saying. I'm only talking about
But I
that
think
disconnect.
ESPN is playing catch up. They're playing catch up.
But that's
to
what
new
I'm talking
media.
about. That disconnect
Yeah.
right there. Us fans, we like going to like Fortnite or whatever, Discord or Twitch to see Kyrie talk or whatever. That's cool. We're talking about the NBA media, the billion-dollar business of media that covers the NBA, that actually puts their stuff in magazines,
But
knows
let me
how to
tell you
promote
this,
it.
man.
What's the disconnect? There's a disconnect there.
You look at history of media, they've always been left behind, regardless of music, regardless of sports. I could go back to hip hop. You're from New York. you know a lot more about this. Media did not like hip hop, but hip hop was so grassroots popular that the media had to say, "Fuck it, these guys are so big, we're losing money without promoting this shit." You know what I mean? The NBA has to realize that, yo, nowadays the media has changed. People nowadays, I'm looking at actors, they go to fucking what's that one short black guy's midget? Tyson at stream. He's popular now, man. People go to him stream and he's hilarious.
It's
It's
true,
in his
and the
living room.
NBA has hopped on that wave. But the thing is, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying they're in a partnership with ESPN, right? I think
Yeah.
ESPN, their partnership is, so far as we know, it's money. It's money driven. We give you, let's say, $7 billion a year. You give us the NBA. Let's just say that's the number, right?
Yeah.
We know there's money being exchanged. Also, there's brand. There's the way you're presenting my brand being exchanged, right? And so far, we've seen it collide this year. We've seen Stephen A. Smith collide with LeBron James on the court, and they're going back and forth in the media. So,
Yeah.
and then now we're watching NBA Finals. Guess who gets an entrance just like the players? Stephen A. Smith. ESPN now, the way they're interacting with the NBA is from a like, we're gonna introduce our own characters that are on our network.
Yeah, I think ESPN now
Yeah.
they look to build their own brand.
Yeah, like
Nowadays,
you
they
don't
look
see
to
that.
build
Like
their own brand.
it's like we paid you money. Now I'm gonna move into your house and I'm gonna sit in your couch and open your fridge.
Yeah,
Like it's
but I think that's
a
the-
weird thing.
It's the media in general now. I think NBC recently signed Carmelo Anthony.
And that's where, man, that NBC dynamic is
Carmelo-
gonna be interesting because that's where
That
ESPN.
Carmelo was a grassroots.
Yeah, but
That
what?
Carmelo was a grassroots where Carmelo went on YouTube. Yes, all the money in the world. He said, "Fuck it, I'll build my own production studio," and through that, he's built his own grassroots where NBC can be like, "Yo, this Melo shit is so popular, we gotta throw some money at him."
But peep the difference, right? Peep the difference.
Yeah.
ESPN. Let me ask you a question. Would ESPN have signed Carmelo Anthony?
No, fuck no.
Why? Why not?
He's not an ESPN product.
No, that's not it.
Why wouldn't they sign Carmelo Anthony?
Let me ask you a question. Who did ESPN recently put on their network that's from the same exact world as Carmelo Anthony as far as the media sphere that's on YouTube or podcast?
Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas. What does Gilbert Arenas mostly do on his show? Troll. It's a lot of
Troll,
trolling. It's a lot of trying to go viral. That's what they're in the business of. That's the difference. NBC is in the business of storytelling.
How does that make sense?
Wait, hold on.
Carmelo Anthony is an A-list celebrity in the world of basketball.
No. But you're not understanding. Look how Melo attacks his show. Melo talks about the game, just laughs and tell jokes with friends. It's relatable on that type of way. Gilbert does something else. Gilbert trying to go
Gilbert's
viral.
shock value. He's Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Charlemagne the God.
Yes.
He kind of goes into that realm.
Yes. And then guess who picks him up? ESPN.
Well, ESPN. 'cause
That's what they're looking for.
Also, Perkins got a bigger gig once he beat Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
You're seeing Richard Jefferson. He kind of, I don't know what the hell Richard Jefferson.
And
is, man. I'm
and
not
that's
gonna
where I'm asking you, does the NBA reevaluate their relationship with ESPN and say, hey, we don't like the way you're interacting? Like they're gonna say it exactly like this. Outside of the money we exchange, right, and the services we provide to you, we don't like the way you're interacting with our product. To me, they should be in a room talking like this because it's different now.
Adam Silver should, because now you're making the look. I think NBA. I don't know how much they make compared to the NFL, but I assume because of the games, and NBA obviously airs more games because their seasons are a lot longer. I assume they make a lot more money from NBA coverage than NFL coverage, despite NFL coverage dominating for like 4 months out of the year.
Oh,
Regardless,
you're
the NBA
right. You're
should have
right.
more leverage.
Yes, and you know what's beautiful? You brought up the NFL. NFL.
But
Look
you
at.
notice
Wait,
the
hold on.
NFL coverage is much more respected.
Why does ESPN respect the NFL?
Roger Goodell. I think they're on a lot more there are a lot more syndications on NFL. I assume
Nah. There's a difference. Why does ESPN interact with the NFL from a respectable manner?
a lot more respectable perspective, of course.
Why? But why is that? Because they didn't do that before. Remember the CTE little segments on Sports Center? All of a sudden, you don't see
Yeah,
that no more.
they had a whole drama and shit. They had a whole TV show about it.
Yep, the Playmaker show.
Yeah,
Why all of a sudden? But why the change? What happened? The NFL told them, hey,
NFL probably throw their weight around like, yo,
yeah,
you
they
keep
put the
messing
no,
with
they
us,
probably put their
we're
foot
gonna
down.
pull our show. Yeah, they told them like, yo, if you keep messing with us, we're taking it. We're gonna take our.
Yo, the NFL is a boss. They had the shittiest games on Monday Night Football on ESPN, and they made ESPN pay a ton of money for it. That's the difference. Adam
Yeah.
Silver needs to boss up. He needs to boss up because right now I don't think he realized the way they're interacting with the NBA is from a trolling standpoint only. And thank God NBC next season has come back into the fold because they're about to show the fans how the NBA is supposed to be
I think
covered.
Amazon coming back in. I think Amazon coming into the fold will be good. Um,
No. But wait, hold on. But NBC, look at. I'm not sure if you ever seen the little clips of how the NBC used to show the NBA with the song and everything.
yeah, with Bill Walton and everything,
But when you watch those clips, what do you see that they're doing?
they're they're breaking down players.
No, they're telling stories.
Yeah, they're telling stories. They're breaking down
No,
players. They're
no,
doing
but
everything
but
that's
but but they
proper.
they they do it from a real. It's I don't want to say from a Walt Disney like story, but you
You
ever
have to
see?
do it a soap opera way. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like
exactly. That's the perfect word. Soap
the
opera.
young. Let's say for example, the LeBron, the greatest player of all time, or arguably the greatest player we've ever seen, versus the up and coming um Wembenyama. You young fella got a lot to prove. Whatever have you, they're gonna break down both players, their strengths and weaknesses, their numbers this season, yada yada yada. Right? That's just what that's how ideally I assume NBC will present their product this season.
NBC knows how to market the NBA better, and we're about to see it next year for
I
the
think the
first time.
NBC also spent a lot of money. They're bringing in Mike.
Yeah, but it's not a money thing. It's a cultural thing. You see, it's like the NBC sees the NBA and they see it as a product. Like, oh, we gotta tell the story. Like, we're into this in a different way than ESPN. ESPN sees the NBA like a prostitute. That's the difference.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, we need you on the corner to make money. Oh, if you're not making money, oh, we're gonna now. Okay, now we gotta fully pimp you out. We gotta pimp you out. No breaks, no vacation, no nothing. That's what ESPN is doing to the NBA. They've now
yeah.
inserted the biggest pimp, Stephen A. Smith, into the fold. He now is a character in the NBA storyline. It's not like he clashed into LeBron at Staples Center when they had that little back and forth. That was the real world clash, but there's also a clash in the digital world. Stephen A. Smith is now covering the NBA from a trolling
Well,
standpoint.
you also saw Evan Windhorst get his hands dirty with too through
Exactly.
media, where Windhorst is throwing shots.
Look at Gilbert Arenas in less than a month. Gilbert Arenas has gotten Tracy McGrady to shit on Kobe Bryant. Less than
Yeah,
a
he
month.
shat on Kobe.
Less than a month.
Yeah,
How many years have we seen T Mac on ESPN? He never shit talked nobody like that unless they came at him. All of a sudden, T Mac is shit talking. Come on, man.
yeah.
Come on, man. We know what culture. Oh, come on. We know what culture ESPN's about.
Even Wade shit talking.
Wade just gave his perspective. It was a little different. I think Wade was kind of wrong about Pau Gasol being MVP, but he was right about that game 7. He was not telling no lies
Yeah,
about that.
Gasol showed up.
No, but he was right
Yeah,
about
that's
Kobe shooting bad in that game 7. There's no lies about that. That stat line
no, yeah.
don't lie. But
Both teams
Kobe is the
shot
MVP.
shit.
He is the MVP of that series.
100%. But I digress. I think the way it was much more clip farming. I think the way Gilbert Arenas approached the whole idea of small markets should never win an NBA championship. I'm like, man, for you played in this league, you've been a part of small markets. It's not a good way of shitting on the product you played that fed you for 13 years. You know
He
what I
doesn't
mean?
he doesn't mean it.
Yeah, I
Gil
know he doesn't mean it. It's reaction farming.
Yeah, exactly. Gil knows what he's doing. He knows what how the business thrives. He's like, okay, I gotta troll. I gotta give them something to talk about, something to come back, something to be angry about and get emotional so they can come
And
back
I think it
and I
fucks
can
with NBA
monetize.
history too, because now you're having dishonest conversations. And like I think if you ask someone non-biased regarding NBA history, they're gonna straight up tell you, yes, Shaq was the first option, no doubt. Within that span of the three-peat, he won an MVP, three Finals MVP. He was dominant, but it's not far-fetched to think Kobe could be a good second to one B option. I think now history has kind of flipped where people are kind of overvaluing Kobe's impact, undermining Shaq's, and vice versa, overvaluing Shaq's impact, undermining Kobe's. So a lot of it's done a lot of damage to the league and how we view
Yeah,
history,
but covering
especially
but
basketball
ESPN
history.
covering the league from that point of view 24/7 with no context, no proper context to understanding okay, the league was a physical league.
Yeah,
There was no player movement. There's other dynamics at play. Free agency
well,
started.
you're not given the context
Yeah,
of that time period either. So you're starting a beef with the dead man and a man who's close to his like what mid 50s to 60s. It just
it's
kind of
almost
it's just yeah.
even with LeBron, they're just like, oh yeah, he scored the most points, so he's the greatest of all time. But it's like nobody was saying that about Kareem when he had the record for like the past 30 years. Nobody said he's the greatest player of all time.
Nobody said that about Malone.
Yeah, it's like it's a
Yeah.
weird, but they don't understand. At the same time, Stephen A. Smith, he's old enough to know, oh, you can't compare guys from the past to now because they spent 7 years in the 80s trying to get free agency. So what are you talking
Also, like
about?
the style of play is different. How defenses and offense mesh. Like you look at the league now, it's much more offensive orientated, and that's where I saw T Mac make a crazy statement. He'd average 40. I'm like, bro, T Mac, you'd average a good 25 plus.
Nah, T Mac
But
wouldn't average 40. He
bro,
was not even efficient like that.
I think T Mac would average a cool like close to 25, cool 20 plus because a lot of players do it and the offense is catered. But I'm also looking at it. I'm like, man, that's a very dishonest way of looking at basketball and looking at the product you're supposed to be promoting. Because
Exactly.
sure, like
Wait,
you
my
have
bad.
these views, fine. I'm not saying that shit on your own generation, shit on your era, shit on your peers. I'm not saying that, but you can give flowers, and I think that's where I have a problem with, especially a lot of these old heads in media, because I look at guys like Allen Iverson. He gives flowers.
You know why? Because he doesn't want to be perceived. Allen Iverson, I'm not saying he agrees with some of the stuff, but he understands like this is just like Superman versus Batman talk. It's gonna go on forever. I might as well just give guys their flowers, and because I don't want to be perceived as a hater. At the end of
Well,
the day,
I
no
think
matter
he
what you say,
understands
you're gonna
media.
be. But some guys buy into it and it pays. Imagine it pays. It does for ESPN. That's how they cover the NBA. It's from put it like this. Gilbert Arenas, I remember I seen him talk on one of his lives. He said that ESPN was so kind of hyped up about him that they asked him to move to New York. They're like, oh, but we want you in person because you changed the whole energy of the room. Like they want that back and forth. They're like that's the difference in how they're covering the league. They want like a
Yeah, I
back
agree.
back and forth dynamic. They don't want it's not
But what I'm
information
saying
based.
is, I like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett a lot because I like the way both of them talk about younger players. I think Paul's funny because Paul was shit on his own era, but he'll hype up the new era for whatever. Like you ask Paul about LeBron, he'll make LeBron seem like a bum. But you ask him about like Jason Tatum and younger guys, he'll be like, yeah, that's a fucking stud. So I like how they kind of go about the league. Allen Iverson. There's a lot of media guys that I'm like, man, those guys are redeemable. Those guys are respectable. But I'm looking at Gilbert Arenas, Tracy McGrady. At some point, you're just gonna tarnish kind of whatever goodwill you have. I'm gonna be honest. I think Tracy McGrady is one of the most overrated players in basketball history.
Yeah,
But still,
I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer because if you don't make it
no,
out
I
the
don't think
first
so
round,
either.
he's
I
a
don't think so
he's a
either.
Hall of Famer. But first ballot, oh, I don't know.
No, fuck no,
What the
bro.
fuck is the
What playoff
standard?
success? What playoff success did Tracy McGrady really produce? Like he had a great moments at 13 seconds against the Houston Rock, against the San Antonio Spurs. Historic, no doubt about that. But where do you ever see Tracy McGrady's jersey ever being retired anywhere? You know, Orlando, fuck no. Houston, fuck no. Atlanta, San Antonio, fuck no. So it's kind of like, man, with Tracy McGrady, you already have a good reputation of being overrated.
But you know what? I
I mean,
can't
underrated,
I
or
can't.
not underrated, but very rated. Like people still glaze Tracy McGrady, especially that older, like early 30s, like you
But
know what
nah,
I
you
mean?
know what it
30.
is? No, you know what it
Uh-huh.
is? The NBA, there's people that love the game from a winning standpoint. There's people that love the game from a showmanship standpoint.
Well,
And there's
McGrady was a one hell of a showman.
yeah, and there's a large fan base. You know, of course, there's a large portion that love that showmanship. Oh, he scored all these points, and that's all they really go by. But they don't understand, like, yeah, but what was the wins like? Like they lost
They don't
every night.
understand team dynamics. How far can you lead a team? For example, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan wasn't as explosive, so you're not gonna get much people talking about crazy Duncan moments. But when you break down accolades, you break down success, you break down team leading, you break down his career from '99 to 2016. You have an appreciation for, was Tim Duncan drafted '99 or '96? One of the late
I think
'90s.
it might have been '98.
'98? Well, yeah, '98, sure. '98, I agree.
Yeah, the
But you
lockout
look
year.
at that, you build the appreciation for those kind of players.
It's you know
So
what it is. It's a few players that can win and entertain at the same time. Very few. Kobe was one of them. Kobe could win and entertain.
I
Jordan
think
could
there was
win and
some. I
entertain.
think Shaq was a circus because he's like so unbelievable, but he still won you games.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could win it. Well, he was so dominant. He was bound to win. Yeah, I think
I think
low key. There's been other players. There's been other
Steph,
players.
Steph, Jordan, those guys were they were great showmen.
Yeah, those are rare to be both of those things. But there is a
Yeah.
fan base. When you see T Mac speaking, he's speaking from the showmanship point of the game a lot. I think he's speaking from that. But when it comes to tactical and winning, it's just like, because see, he spoke about if I had Shaq. Yo, you know what's so crazy? A lot of people mistook what he said about Kobe, but he really was mentioning Shaq. He just didn't. He didn't fully speak in detail. Like he should have kind of elaborated a little bit more what he meant. He meant if he had Shaq and the way Shaq was so dominant, or if he had a dominant center, because he's thinking in those terms. Because that's his era. You had a dominant big man. If he
Yeah,
had a
that's
dominant
dominant.
big
But
man, he would have won. I think
that's the thing, right?
that's what he
I
meant.
think with Kobe, he had to take a little bit of a backseat when it came to Shaq, right?
A
Whether
little
it was
bit? Like, why
Phil,
do people say a little bit? There
he
was
had to
no
take a backseat.
there was no a little take a little. It wasn't an option. He was gonna be in the back seat no matter what he thought.
Yeah, well, no matter what. And I think guys like T Mac, guys like T Mac, guys like Tracy McGrady, would they be willing to accept taking a backseat to Shaq?
At the time, yes, because you can tell who was the alpha dog of the NBA. There was no doubt. It was Shaq.
With
There was
Shaq,
there was nobody that was saying T Mac was going on the floor and
I think
guaranteeing a
the only
bucket.
player you can say, the only player you could say that was close was Tim Duncan during that time. Because Duncan gave Shaq a hard time in the playoffs.
True, but I'm talking about something else like dominance, like head
Mm.
alpha, 300 pounds, five dudes on his back, and he's gonna bang it in the hoop. T Mac could not have five dudes on his back and still banging on somebody.
No, hell no.
The-
That's Shaq.
yeah,
Bro,
that's Shaq. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Shaq, at one point, teams were just signing centers just so they could foul out.
hey, it's just that type of dominance. We've never seen that type of dominance even today.
We're never going to see that kind of dominance ever.
That would be crazy if we
Shaq's an
did.
anomaly. Shaq's an anomaly, bro. But Jokic dominant because of his passing, not because of what Shaq did.
Mm,
Just put the ball in the hole.
sheesh, man, it's some interesting
But
times.
anyways, so LeBron picked up his option, right? If I'm not wrong. And LeBron picked up his option, and what? Right after he picked up his option, we hear reports that LeBron is looking at the offseason and he's going to determine his destination. I think he picked up his option before the draft, right? Or am I fucking up the timeline?
Uh, he picked up his option probably before free agency started.
Before free agency started. So he's putting the pressure on the Lakers to make a deal, to make an improvement on the roster. With the Lakers, there's a lot of pressure because Austin Reeves declined an offer that was made recently to him. He's looking to get paid. LeBron now is looking at the team. He's like, all right, we got to compete. You remember last season with Anthony Davis putting a lot of pressure before he got traded to really give him another big man and kind of surround him with much more tools to really compete. So it
Yeah,
seems like LeBron is also putting his foot down and telling him like, "Yo, I'm retiring soon." There was rumors that he was at dinner and people overheard him. Obviously, you have to take it with the grain of salt. That LeBron told someone, "Yeah, Vanessa does not want me playing for too long." And I think Rich Paul recently made a statement.
yeah. Rich
Which
Paul
was
made a statement. We're gonna listen to it right here. But before then, I
yeah,
just want to say, just looking at their cap sheet, LeBron James opting in, putting the Lakers, let me see, about $4 million away from being at that second. Well, being $4 million away from hitting the first apron already. So it's like, who are you really adding when you're opting in for that amount of money? And at the end of the
yeah.
day, another part I have to this is, who exactly, if you look at the NBA overall, who is exactly signing LeBron James? Let's say, forget the $52 million he opted into. Who's even signing him for 30 or even 40? Who's really gonna
Nobody,
Who's really gonna do
nobody.
that?
I
With the
think
CBA?
If you're the Knicks and your Cavs, you're gonna try to make him take a deal to take less.
What? If he played for those teams, he would have to get paid 10 to 12 million a year. They do
Yeah,
not have the
100%.
space
That's
for
what I'm
that.
saying. He has to take less, and those teams are his best bet: the Knicks and the Cavs, because the Knicks he's always talked about. Oh, I love Madison Square Garden, and the Cavs is a storybook ending of hometown kid retires at home.
But let me ask you a question. Let's say if it was possible, he joined those teams, would he start?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
What? And you're trying to win a championship?
I mean, dude, come on, man. It's LeBron, top 10
See,
player.
that's the problem. That's the problem right there, right?
Who are you starting in the Knicks? Right? Are you really gonna start? Let's say hypothetically, are you starting
You got
Mikal Bridges
Mikal.
over him?
Let's say he was on the Knicks. You got Mikal. He's not gonna play the two. You got OG. Is he gonna guard what
But
OG is guarding?
who's being moved hypothetically? Like that's what we gotta.
Nobody's being moved. LeBron James will actually play what he is. He's 40 years old. He's going to play 25 hard minutes a night. Hard minutes, both ends on the floor.
Yeah,
He's going to average 18, 7 and 7. If he wants to do
bro.
that,
No way. LeBron's averaging
you see
18, 7, and 7.
exactly, then there's no way he's winning a championship in 2025. He can do
You don't
that.
think LeBron?
He
You
wait,
don't
hold on.
think LeBron averaging what? What did he average last season? Let me pull up his numbers last season.
How many
You
minutes
don't
he
think that
played?
can trip? Let me check.
How many minutes he played? He's still playing 40 minutes. He's
LeBron's
still
still playing crazy minutes.
He's still getting swept by most teams. He's still getting swept. He's still getting brushed. You saw how much
40 years old.
you saw how much shit Anthony
Average
Edwards was talking. There's
24,
nothing
7 and 8. 34, 40 minutes per game.
exactly. Why does he need 40 minutes to be getting swept every year in the first round?
He doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, we have to evaluate. Yo, KD, even if KD was 42, he can average 20 a game. He can
That's
average
because KD
that.
has an off ball. KD has an off ball ability.
No. But
LeBron doesn't. LeBron hasn't
what
played.
I'm saying is that there's a difference though. When you average what LeBron James averages and you're 25 years old in the Miami Heat in 2010, LeBron can carry even a horrible Cleveland team and average those points. But when you're 40 years old, you're getting the same points, you're playing the same minutes. The impact is not going to be the same. When when LeBron first joined the Lakers, they won 35 games a year before. They didn't lose one person in free agency. They only dropped Julius Randle. But other than that, they still had all those top draft picks. LeBron joined the team and they still won 35 games. So what are we evaluating the name LeBron James, or are we evaluating the impact? Because the impact as far as him averaging those points to get him to pass Kareem, it doesn't have the same impact on the winning column. But he can still get that 28, 7 and 7. He can still get those. But
I think LeBron still makes you a French playoff team.
yeah, but are the goal for the Knicks, the Cavs, those teams we just mentioned, that
No,
can
those
actually
goals are
compete.
for winning the Larry O'Brien at this point.
Exactly.
Those
So
teams are
is
at their peak. Donovan's at this peak. Jalen Brunson's at his
so
peak.
hold on.
So ideally
Did,
for them would be to compete for a
but
championship.
exactly. But did you not see the finals? Did you not see? Did you not see SGA fighting off Nemhard? Then he gets switched on Ben Matherin. Then he gets switched on Naismith. Did you not see him
Yeah,
fight off all those guys and then he plays defense on the other end? You think LeBron
yeah.
James is ready to do that? And how
No,
many
not a
7-game series did SGA have? He just had 2 7-game series.
two
On top of
seven
that,
game
he
series.
played 2 more series after that. You think LeBron James is ready to go to war after playing 82 games at 40 years old? Yeah,
The fuck no, bro.
this is
That,
trippy,
that's
man. This is
that's
trippy.
father time. That's father time taking over at that point.
So this is the
Um,
first time ever in sports where things are so politicized that no one's even revealing the truth. It's like, hey, he can average 25, 7 and 7, but he not doing that in no second, third round conference finals in 2025.
well, we
Nobody.
saw even in the first round, he burned out pretty quick after the first game.
So
Minnesota.
how the hell everybody? So how the hell everyone's thinking he gonna go to a contending team? He's
I
ready.
know people love shitting on Randall, but Randall cooked him.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
If LeBron's getting cooked by Randall in the playoffs, it's time, man. It's time for LeBron to come off the bench. No one's saying he's a bench player. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to average his 18,
What,
7, and
embrace the
7.
Andre Iguodala role?
Yes, it's time. It's been time. It's
I
been
mean,
time.
shit, bro. Like, let's be honest. If he wins the six-man player of the year, one more achievement over Mike, I guess.
But you know what? This is what I mean. This
Yeah.
and this is the issue that I'm pretty sure all the legends already see. Because LeBron James could fool a lot of us who've never been in the NBA court or whatever. But I think when it comes to the Kareems, the MJs, the Larry Birds, the Magics, the guys who've
Bill
been,
Walton too.
yeah,
He took a lesser role for
but
young Larry Bird Celtics.
exactly. But the guys that have been to the tippy top, the Isaiah Thomases, LeBron James can't sit in the room and tell them at age 40, I'm playing 40 minutes a night, I'm competing for a championship. They'll all laugh in his face because they know, brother, that shit ain't happening even if you had a magic wand.
Yeah, that
They know that. They're looking at the way he plays.
especially with the current pace being fast paced.
Exactly. They're like,
Yeah.
hold up. This 18-year-old kid just left college. He's jumping out the gym. Look at the spacing on the floor. And you mean to tell me even at age 40, you about to run 40 minutes with this kid? They're
You're
like,
gonna
come
switch,
on, brother. Who you
switch on
fooling?
defenders. You're gonna switch, do everything like that. Hell no, it's hard.
Oh yeah.
The defenders can hide you for so long.
Oh yeah.
And
Even
I think that was the problem with the Lakers in the playoffs. They were hard to hide. A lot of their flaws were hard to hide.
you
The
saw
center
Anthony
flaw was
Edwards.
hard to hide.
Anthony Edwards was running right past Luka and LeBron, man. You could just see the athleticism. These guys can't stop him from penetrating.
I mean, dude, you saw Randall play muscle ball. But Rudy Gobert looked like Shaquille O'Neal in Game 5.
Yeah, man. And once again, this is where branding is clashing with expectation.
I mean, you saw that with the Nuggets too. The Nuggets ran the Lakers off the court 2 times. You're seeing that with the decline of LeBron, mind you. But my thing is, okay, we can agree what leverage LeBron has is questionable. But the Lakers themselves, they aren't really doing themselves any favor because now the Lakers already have a reputation of being the home of the legends.
But hold
You
on.
have to pamper one of your legends now because LeBron's getting a jersey retirement in LA.
See, but the pampering stuff is why the Lakers end up selling the team. That shit got them caught up already. They pampered to Kobe.
Well, I'm gonna be honest,
and it put him behind the
that
8
shit
ball.
caught up with Kobe. When they re-signed Kobe in 2013, they paid him the money. Dwight Howard was basically told, "Hey, Dwight, his team is still Kobe's team." He said, "All right, fuck it, I'm going off to Houston, where me and James can be." At the time, James was an emerging star. I'm an established star. We could play 1A, 1B, whatever. Obviously, it didn't pan out. Kobe, what did he really bring to the Lakers? They started the rebuild. Nick Young was their marquee free agent signing. Jody Meeks, aging Chris Cannon. So that whole process of kind of like pampering the
Chris
stars,
Cannon.
that whole process of kind of the pampering stars biting him in the ass, I won't even give that to LeBron. I mostly put it on that on Kobe when they paid Kobe his retirement money for a guy who couldn't play a full season. Even 2016, the reason why he realized that it's fucking over is because he got injured beginning of the early portion of 2015 season, 2015-2016 season. Kobe got injured, and that's when he had to realize like, this shit is not. My body doesn't want to compete anymore.
Mm-hmm. Let's quickly take a look at what LeBron, Rich Paul, his PR guy, I should say.
Yeah.
Let's look at what he had to say.
LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career.
I'm going to pause it right there. I'm going to stop it right there because interesting that he mentions Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka, but doesn't mention a new ownership. And keep in mind, this statement comes out after the team sells.
Yeah, the team sold a month ago. So we're talking a month later.
So he's still talking about Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss. But I'm going to continue.
But that makes sense. He has history with those guys.
He does, but he doesn't, like, you see, it's almost like the Andrew Wiggins thing with LeBron. It's all in the details. It's who he doesn't mention. If there's no Andrew Wiggins mentioned, or I'm looking forward to playing with the new draftee since I have the number 1 pick, means that the number 1 pick ain't gonna be there. If LeBron James ain't even mentioning the new ownership of the Lakers, LeBron has probably not gonna be there. I'm just saying this is a pattern. But let's look at what else Rich Paul had to say.
We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive and want what's best for him. I'm told he wants to compete for a championship next season, and he is uncertain about the Lakers roster moving forward. LeBron James clearly is of the mindset that he wants to compete for a championship, and he's going to be monitoring very closely. Are the Lakers going to make the moves that puts them in position to seriously compete in that vaunted Western Conference? And if now, where do those conversations go? That becomes a subplot of this offseason.
Yo, these guys, man. These Midwest propaganda boys.
Crumbling. Rob Pelinka, the Clutch Sports, Maverick Carter, they're good at running propaganda for LeBron and his interests and rest of their clients' interests, whether Anthony Davis, Draymond Green.
Makes sense. But hold on. In the statement, Rich Paul says he wants to make every season he has left count. And the Lakers understand that and are supportive and want what's best for him. See, but who is he talking about? See, this is made so vague for a reason. Is he talking about Rob Pelinka? He mentioned Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss, but they're no longer, Jeannie is no longer in control.
I don't think Rob is in control depending on how this shit pans out this season.
Yeah, because I doubt the Lakers are willing to pay luxury tax. LeBron opted in. Looking at the salary cap, they're at 191, and the first apron is at 195.
The problem with the Lakers, man, they have no direction. You look at the Lakers, you tell me. We just talked about Memphis and their direction. We talked about Orlando and their direction. We've talked about, what other team have we talked about? The Houston Rockets in their direction, right? Those 3 teams, you and I, we both agreed that they have direction. We understand their end goals, right? Whether it's Orlando trying to win the Eastern Conference, Houston trying to compete in the stacked Western Conference, and Memphis Grizzlies retooling to keep, obviously, Jaren Jackson Jr. and re-sign a couple of those guys, bringing new talents. What is the Lakers' end goal? I don't even think you know. I don't know. I don't think even you know, bro. I don't even think the Lakers, the people in the decision making in LA, know what the fuck the Lakers are doing, bro.
I think I know what the end goal is. The end
What's
goal,
the end goal?
is those Bronny James jersey sales. I'm not talking about the Bronny James jerseys themselves. I'm talking about the money that it generated. The end goal is for them to make money.
No, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about as a team constructed.
No. I'm telling you, the end goal is not about the team. It's about the money. The end
Bro, this
goal
shit
has
isn't
always
Disney,
been
man.
the money. Ever since
This,
LeBron has been there, because it's not realistic to build a team around paying a 40-year-old $50 million. It's not realistic.
bro, I get that, but basketball isn't Disney or Nintendo where I just put Mario's face in everywhere. People are gonna buy them.
You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked
We
how
are moving in a new generation where younger fans don't care. They want to see their player. They want to see their player. They want to see players kind of rise up and become superstars and win championships.
that's what the
You
Laker
got
fans
Luka,
want. The Laker fans
bro.
want that.
Lakers fans,
They want that,
bro,
but I'm telling you how ownership is moving. Ownership
bro.
is
I get
moving.
that.
Wait, hold on. Ownership is moving like a theme park. Come see the top scorer of all time, LeBron James in LA. Ooh. And
But
now
man,
we
how
got
the fuck does
Luka.
that make sense?
Ooh.
You have a player who's top 5 in the league, went to the finals last fucking year. Promote him, make him, build around him. Why the fuck would you trade for him at that point? Put Anthony, then might as well milk out those Anthony Davis years and be like, hey guys, this is the COVID championship. Have your last hoorah before the player retires and we trade him to buck fuck anywhere. Why not just do that? Why bring in someone like Luka, 25 years old, coming from a championship team, doesn't have an organic relationship with the Lakers as of right now? The only person he has an organic relationship with is JJ Redick because he played with them for a season.
Well, you know what?
Why take those gambles? Because if I'm Luka and his team, I'm looking at the Lakers. I'm like, all right, I'm coming into my prime. I'm watching my peers, Jason Tatum win a championship, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander win a championship. Why would I sit there and wait and tittle on my thumbs while those guys continue to keep evolving? Their teams continue evolving. They're going to win championships, MVPs, Finals MVP. I'm sitting there in the back dealing with the 40-year-old amusement park.
Luka is finding out what the house is really like. He's finding out, oh shit, this house is built on sticks. It's just a LeBron James theme park. From a distance, see, I think from a distance, even with among NBA players, the Lakers look away. But once they come inside the house, especially with LeBron James being there, they see, look at Westbrook. It's a house of sticks. It's like, oh, this is built on sticks.
Westbrook, he's able to find an impact on lesser teams. The Denver Nuggets, he's able to find an impact.
But look at
So
it. If you trust the Lakers would have told you, hey, he has no impact. He's on his way out of the league. That's how much. That's how much like no infrastructure that they have. They're just existing and making money off of just being relevant.
Okay,
like
I agree with you.
You can tell, and they're making a lot of money too. You can tell from the Bronny jersey sales, the way they kind of rejected Alex Caruso from extension. Like they could have extended him early. They could have extended. What's the other guy that's on their team right now? They could have extended him early. What's his name? Reeves. Look at all these guys that left the team. They could extend those guys early. Reeves is leaving
the team. He's put the ball's on the Lakers court to extend him, and they can't afford it. But regardless, you look at the situation. What you're telling me right now, it's short-term success. LeBron retires tomorrow. What do the Lakers have? Genuinely speaking, what do the Lakers? The dominance of LA is dying. The Lakers.
You see, that's the thing. That's the thing, though.
They're not dominating LA. If I want a good basketball experience,
you're misunderstanding the Lakers' position. Wait, hold on.
Bro, you're selling nostalgia.
No, they're not selling that. They're selling to make money. The Lakers are in the like Jeannie Buss. See, sometimes you could be an owner and you're not in a good position. Mark Cuban is slowly unveiling what's behind being an owner in today's NBA when you don't have $1 billion business outside the NBA. He said, "Hey, I'm a billionaire, but I'm like a middle class billionaire." Like he's like, to own an NBA team, you got to have this major real estate portfolio
but
today.
Even Mark understood that. I have someone to market. Luka is someone to market. I could feed off of him for 15 years.
Yeah, but Jeannie Buss was not. Think about it. She took over. They're striking out on free agents. They paid Kobe. Nobody really wanted to come and play with an old Kobe. And then at the same time, the brother is suing them. There's friction, inside what direction to go.
She forced him out of the league.
Yeah,
she forced him out of the team and out of.
Look at the Phil Jackson situation. That Phil Jackson
situation was ugly. A lot of these situations were ugly. I agree with you on
Yeah,
that. But we
think about, but hold on, but think, see, but you're thinking about the Lakers are trying to put together. She's in survival mode. She's putting LeBron rescued them. He
so this
came
is a
in for free.
bankruptcy. You're selling out assets and you're
Yeah,
trying to milk out the best asset you have, which happens to be LeBron.
to me,
But
the
what
whole
I'm
time, I think probably from after the first 3 years of her taking over after the father died, I think they began to position the team for at some point to sell. I think it started from a long time. LeBron helped them even position it even better. They hooked them up. They made the money out of the Bronny James shit, and they're making money, but they still owe because now it's like it's super expensive to actually maintain a good team. That's why they cashed out. It's not ironic they got Luka, and all of a sudden Luka's eligible to get paid, and they're out. They're out. They're out because
bro,
now it's like they because remember the Russell Westbrook situation. Jeannie Buss admitted, "Hey, I took out $8 million out of my own situation, which we don't know what it is. It could have been a loan against her net worth, a loan against her shares of the Lakers. We don't know what
our
it is.
personal equities, we don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I
we don't
agree.
know what it is,
But
but the
what
money
I'm saying
struggles
is,
were always there. They were
I
always
agree.
there.
But okay, I agree, right? But right now, I saw recently Rob Pelinka looks to pivot himself into 2026. So he's looking at it 2026, 27 free agency. He's looking at it. He's looking at it at a point of view as, yo, once this new ownership kicks in, we're gonna compete. But what I'm thinking right now, it's what incentive, if you're the Lakers, what incentive does Luca have to stay with the Lakers? Because look at the Mavs. The Mavs had his guys. Dirk Nowitzki was a guy he played with for what, a season, and he built a genuine relationship with. Mark Cuban, the moment he got drafted, said, "Hey, Luca, this is your team. I'm your fucking guy. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be the Diddy to your Biggie.
I
I'm gonna be,
I
I'm
got
gonna be your
I
promoter."
got your
That's
answer.
his guy.
The
Who
incentive,
does Luca have? Who does Luca have where he could be like, "Yo,
he has nothing.
this player makes me want to stay.
He has nothing.
This guy
But you
makes
know
me
what's
want
gonna
to
be the
stay."
incentive? The
What?
incentive is that they're gonna get rid of LeBron. We're gonna watch for the first time ever them ship him away.
But it has to be this offseason.
Um, the way LeBron signed his extension, I think they can trade him next year. Next year, I don't think in the offseason. I think in the start of January.
Okay, so mid-season trade, but still, like, if you're Luca, right? You look at the West and they're standing. The new kids on the block is here. That Cooper Flag kid's on a good team. The Mavericks are a good team right now. He's coming in. He's looking good. He's looking fresh. The man who kicked you out said,
To be
"Yo,
honest,
this is a new
with
kid."
you, the Lakers
Huh?
have ever since Jeannie Buss took over, the Lakers don't have a proof of concept of going out and getting people and forming a good team. They're only they're only
The only success story is 2019, 2020.
no, but that success story came from LeBron trying to brand build, leaving Cleveland, choosing them. I don't think they went out and got him. LeBron James is the kind of player he chooses you.
Well, you still have to build a team
He's
around him
almost like
where
a
John Ron,
supermodel. LeBron is like a
Howard, they love
supermodel chick.
Luka.
Supermodel chick don't like guys are not really like hollering at her like crazy. She's really choosing the girls like that get to choose who they want to be with. She chooses you.
Yeah.
You don't really
So
choose her.
he chose Rondo. He chose to keep Kuzma. He chose Rondo. He chose Dwight Howard.
But he chose the
JaVale
Lakers most
McGee.
importantly.
A lot of these, yeah, but a lot of these personalities come with it. It's like, oh, I get a chance to play with LeBron. Anthony Davis said, "Yo, I get a chance. I want to compete. I want to be a second option. What's better than LeBron?" I get that. But what I'm saying right now, if you're Luca, you're looking at it as, yo, I don't have loyalty to this organization. I had loyalty to Dallas. I was raised there. It became my second home. I had people in the front office and ownership I trust. If I'm Luca right now, I have nobody that I can trust within that front office to make competent decisions. As I'm watching my peers and younger kids pass me up, Dallas is a team emerging, right? I think we can both agree. Dallas is a team right now. They look attractive, man. You look at Dallas, the moves they made. You extend Kyrie Irving. Why? Because him and Nico Harrison had that relations. You bring in Clay Thompson returning. Derek was at Gafford extended. You bring in D'Angelo Russell for the guard position on a minimum. they made moves where it's like, yo, that Cooper Flag kid could be if he pans out to be a generational star, playoff. Anthony Edwards running it back with those guys. They're gonna fill in a couple holes as a regular season as the offseason progresses. Back. Victor Wembanyama healthy. Couple of new toys coming in. Playoff ready. Oklahoma's running it back with the same roster. Most likely finals bond. Who the hell knows with the NBA right now? Denver, they're coming in with new toys. Houston Rockets got Kevin Durant. So my thing is, bro, you're looking at the landscape of the West. The Memphis Grizzlies, they made a pivot. They could possibly be players. Where is the breathing ground for the Lakers? They seem like all men out hustle for the supremacy of the West. As the West, they're buyers. The Lakers don't even seem like, let alone, they don't look like buyers nor sellers. They look like
You're
guys
right.
that are just there. They're just there. They're letting everyone pass them up.
But you know what? You know it's also weird. I think Luka has to become a free agent because he'll be eligible for more money. If he signs an extension, he'll take a shorter. He'll take
Bro, he's not
less
signing an
money.
extension.
Yeah, he's not. It's
He's not
almost
signing
it's
an
almost a
extension.
$70 million difference. It's a
Yeah,
sixty
hell no,
million
bro.
dollar difference. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a lot of pressure because, bro, right now, during this time, you're seeing front offices feel pressure. Trey Young isn't the level of Jason Tatum and Jason Tatum, Shea, or even Brunson, those level guys. He's able to put pressure on the front office to be like, yo, I don't want to be a play-in team anymore. The Indiana Pacers showed the NBA world that you could be a fourth, fifth seed and still be able to prevail to the NBA finals. He's put pressure on his organization to be like, yo, bring me some dogs. They brought in Porzingis, they brought in Nickel Alexander Walker, they brought in a couple of guys. They look like good. You know, if those caliber of players cannot pull the B tier Trey Youngs, then Luka should have that caliber of pull to be like, yo, I want to compete. Tell me this: the Lakers, the front free agency started, centers are in high demand. I mean, centers are in high demand, but low supply. You strike out on every center.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even look like they even tried.
No, hell no.
But you know,
Why?
I can't fault them on that because it's like, who's really gonna? Once again, who's gonna pay? I mean, they only got what $5 million more until they hit the luxury tax.
Yeah,
So
and dude, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like a lot of people, I feel like they haven't watched DeAndre Ayton play basketball in 5 years. There's a reason he got bought out.
you know what it is, but see again, when you're desperate,
Like,
you're
is the
desperate.
name DeAndre? Yeah, but I think it's more to do with his name attraction, bro. I'm gonna be honest. That DeAndre name was once attractive, especially after 2021. Lakers fans haven't watched him since he looked like Shaq in that series against the Lakers.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, man, this is what happened when LeBron stays too long. This is how sometimes you could still be good to play, but you got to know when to bow out, man.
Well, I think what it is, and I think what it is I want to talk about this later tonight. Is GMs overstaying their welcome? Rob Pelinka has overstayed his welcome. LeBron has overstayed his welcome. A
Rob
lot of
Pelinka
the
about to get fired, bro. As soon as that new ownership take over,
I'm gonna
man.
be honest, that Lucas should save them and got him an extension, but he should be fired. He's been incompetent for the past few years. I just watched Alex Caruso win the championship. Come on. A lot
That
of these
Luka
guys
shit
they
saved
need
them, man. I don't know, man. That Luka trade is kind of, you know what it
it's
is?
just a scrub.
It's suspect, but it makes sense at the same time because, again, the new CBA is not about Luka's new contract. It's about putting the proper players around Luka, like Kyrie was due for an extension, and you know all that money adds up. You know Dallas is not getting Laker money as far as local TV deal. They lost that money, so I'm pretty sure when Cuban sold the team, some of that debt was on that books for not getting that money.
Yeah.
They probably planned on getting that money, and that money got cut off.
Well, that's why they got new toys. That Cooper Flag's gonna get them a deal.
Yeah, so Dallas was probably scared about paying that tax, which would have been over $80 million. So now it's on the Lakers tab. If the Lakers give them the extension, it's going to be on them.
One of the most embarrassing things that came out of this whole shit is the Dorian Finney-Smith story that just came out. They allegedly told teams that his leg is fucked up. They try to lie on the guy, bro. Pelinka was secretly telling other teams that Dorian Finney-Smith's ankle is cooked, and that is most likely the reason why Dorian Finney-Smith decided to leave the Lakers.
That's interesting. That's the second time this offseason we've heard a team lie on a player. Kevin Durant said the Suns lied on him.
This is by Anthony Irwin.
Yeah, the Suns told the Minnesota Timberwolves KD was interested in being there, and that was not true.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
it seems like front offices are lying to cut a better deal.
Yeah, I don't blame them, man.
obviously,
It's harder today. It costs a lot of
it's
money.
harder
It's
today,
harder.
but I don't. Man, Dorian Finney-Smith, I'm not gonna lie, that Houston Rockets deal was so affordable. You couldn't pay him that. You had to try to lowball him that much.
But again, like I said before, the Lakers is just it's a house of sticks, man. It's a beautiful logo. But when you get
were
to
talking
when
about
you get inside
familiarity.
Staples Center or whatever, when you get to LA, you realize that's all it is. It's just a logo.
And we were talking about familiarity. That would have been a perfect player to keep around Luca. I said when we were talking about Luca and the incentives to stay, Dorian Finney-Smith probably would have paid off as an incentive to stay, like incentive to Luca. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Someone Luca genuinely loves to play with. And now I don't know, man. The Lakers, they just seem kind of stuck. They're just an ugly organization, man. I'm gonna be honest. I think Rob should get fired.
Nah,
I
the
don't
Lakers are
think
gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine because now they have a new ownership with deep pockets. But you
But
know
how
what's
much?
interesting?
But can you confidently say Luca stays?
No, that part I don't know. But
So
even if
we're
he
looking.
leaves, even if Luka leaves, right? The Lakers will be fine. The way that owner's
Yeah.
running the Dodgers, Lakers are gonna be straight. It might take
Well,
some
but
time, but they're gonna be fine.
let's see, man. Let's see, because
But
I'm looking at as of 2025, they're fucked. Now 2030s, we're probably gonna have a whole different conversation. But as of right now, it's not looking good with how the Lakers are structured, how the culture is. It's embarrassing to say the least. But that's kind of my final thoughts on the Lakers in general.
yeah, I mean, my final thoughts on it. I mean, just I just wanted to add on to this. The amount of teams that have been sold since 2020, since the bubble pandemic year: Lakers, Celtics, Suns, Mavericks,
Bucks.
Hornets, the Jazz, the T-Wolves, and now even the
Yeah.
Blazers are up for sale. What's
I think
going
even
on? Like, is it time to cash out?
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are just cashing out and selling to techno and equity owners.
Has the evaluations have peaked, and are they real? Like the evaluations are inflated.
Bro, I don't think these evaluations the evaluations are real. The Bucks and the Celtics sold off peak of their evaluation after they won the championship.
Exactly, and the Lakers, in a way, they sold at peak too because they landed Luka and instantly put it for sale.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
We're looking at a new time of NBA ownerships in general. But
No, but again, like Mark Cuban said, he's like, hey, you got to be a certain billionaire to own an NBA team today.
yeah.
He said that you have to be a certain kind of billionaire, and you can't be. You got to have cash, man. You can't be completely asset rich.
No, you can't. You have to have cash on hand and willing to take in these big risks. I think the Phoenix Suns shown that with the new owners. Steve Ballmer has shown that since 2014. You're seeing that as time progresses and how much basketball is changing.
But me
rapidly
personally, I
fast.
believe the prices are real what the team sold for, but the inflation to get to those price points, that's fake. Like like that part is fake, where it says like the team is gonna generate a certain amount of money. Most of these teams, even the expensive teams, the way they're set up to be successful, in order to win, you have to get into the luxury tax. And
Yeah.
I think a successful NBA season, I've heard the Lakers made $80 million just making the first round of the playoffs for a whole year. I mean, you look at the luxury tax bill, it's over like 110, 120. It could dip it all the way up to 150. So it's like, what? Like a lot of these teams are taking losses, man. I'm just wondering, are these
Well, that's
teams
why I
now?
think that's why Dallas cut off the possibility of giving Luca the supermax.
True, but I'm wondering if these teams now are just basically write-offs for billionaires or entities that have other things in their portfolio other than
They're
these
gonna be
teams.
right. It's for sure a write off. These teams they don't want to make. Dude, these are country club brags owning a basketball team. They don't want it to make it a full time job.
No, but that's the thing. It used to be that, right? It used to be the country club thing to do because these teams were only a couple millions of dollars. We've always
Yeah,
heard owners had other things to do. But nowadays, these owners seem way more attached. Some of these evaluations are very high for this to just be some side
you
piece.
remember the famous quote by Suge Knight? Um, if you don't want execs dancing in your videos, doing ad libs, come to death row.
Hmm.
We're at that point now where owners want to be personnels.
But are these individual owners or are these owners that have access to entities? Because that's what it looks like.
They're technocrats, so they have access to entities.
Because we're seeing the T Wolves, even A Rod and was it Mark Laurie?
The Walmart guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Walmart guy.
they got backing, but they didn't fully get the team. They have backing from another entity to come up with
Yeah,
the
of course.
money. Same thing for the Celtics. That guy
I don't
that
think
bought the Celtics.
Matt Lore, I don't think he's like he just made money off of Walmart, so I don't think he's
Yeah, these guys are
that
not cash rich.
he's not crazy crash
Yeah,
rich. You know what I mean?
to throw down that
Yeah.
type of money. And same thing for the Lakers and the Celtics. The people who bought these teams, the Lakers guy, he has the money, but the Celtics
But
guy,
even the Dodgers is an equity team.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, they do have backing. Both of them do.
Magic and those guys are a part. Magic's a part of the equity team.
Yeah, but they have backers way bigger than that. I'm talking like institutional money.
Well, yeah, of course, I agree.
Yeah,
'Cause
same
a
thing
lot
with
of
the
them are gonna have
Celtics.
backers. I think even I don't know much about Fertitta and how the Rockets are ran, but he's the face of it, and I assume he has backers too.
Yeah, he probably does, but at least we know his other business. You know what I mean?
He's a real estate giant in Houston, bro.
Yeah, see, but at least we know that. Like that's the other part.
Yeah.
But you see, look at the owners like Jeannie Buss, where the Lakers was his only thing, and then now even the Celtics, it's like okay, now people are coming in with real estate portfolios, buying these
Yeah.
teams. It's a strange thing because I'm thinking we're seeing Desmond Bain get traded. We're seeing other players, teams that were competing for a championship, kind of get rid of guys. This is gonna get more savage.
Well, even Jokic, I recently saw like the GM. He said straight up like we're gonna offer Jokic an extension, but it depends on if he's willing to accept. I'm like, damn, bro, you're gonna say that about the best player in the world, the guy who deserves a statue in front of the stadium? That's what you're gonna say about him?
But you know what's funny? Man, I wish these NBA teams release how much money they make a year. Because I'm telling you, some of
Yeah.
these, a lot of these teams that are winning, like the Denver Nuggets, their luxury tax bill is going to be higher than how much money they actually make in profit.
Well, that's why they're shedding off a lot of that salary. That's why we saw the Michael Jr. trade just happen.
Mm-hmm. Man, I never forget when
But
I heard the Detroit Pistons lost 50 mil in a year, and that was the Pistons.
well,
I can imagine some
yeah,
of these big market, franchises like the Celtics
New
and
York,
Lakers.
LA,
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
expensive
Yeah.
real estate, expensive rent, cost of doing business, high taxes. How much
I
money
mean,
are
just
these guys
imagine,
really
bro.
even
Look at
making?
Madison Square Garden. I mean, just look at Madison. That fucking real estate is probably crazy.